Now, when it comes to hooks, you are the hook extraordinaire, aka master of that. Tell me how you got started doing hooks.
Well, I can contribute that to Above the Law, Code 187, my cousin.
Okay.
You know, he seen I had different styles
Okay.
that I, used to practice, being influenced by Curtis Mayfield, Smokey Robinson, Rick James, George Clinton, Bootsy Collins. We wanted to take not take their sound, but we were so influenced, we didn't want to call ourselves Parliament babies.
Mm-hmm.
So we changed it on our own. And a lot of people do that through the years, just like Michael Jackson was inspired by James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was definitely heavily inspired by the Parliament sound. So when I signed with Eazy-E, Above the Law already, put me in the feature side by doing different things, just as well as I rap. I was. So Eazy gave me a chance to be a writer because I co-wrote Appetite of Destruction on the Niggas for Life album, as well as introduce a character called Sweet Talk, and do the Jamaican thing. So that was like the beginning of like what you call the feature game. Because a lot of people weren't doing features. You would see people do spec things here and with each other, but that was really initially the mission statement about the feature game really being introduced. How it was, you know what I mean? And that was my humble surroundings right there. And once I did that, it put me on a different atmosphere. Because people was wanting that same type of sound I did with Above the Law and NWA and Eazy-E and at the Ruthless Camp.
Right.
And it just started growing and growing and growing.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't nobody thinking about I was going to be the most featured artist. I just like, putting out the music that I grew up on,
Right.
inspired, and then I did it in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And people happen to like the craziness and different other things that came with it. And one of the things that pushed me, but it was unfortunate when Eazy-E passed. It was an unfortunate death. That was our lifeline. Monies was being held up. Half the time I would just be doing hooks for artists and wasn't getting paid. Because, I wanted to keep my name growing out there. You know what I mean? So
Right.
when you see me over 4,000 features from A-list artists that I've got paid from the independent artists, some I got paid from, but some didn't. That means I was working all the time. Every year for the last 29 years I put out projects or you heard me on hooks. And some of the monies was low, but at the same time, that was my only source of feeding my family.
Right.
So I would always do hooks.
Okay.
Whether it was Chicanos or whether it was Asians or blacks, it didn't matter worldwide. They wanted that Kokane signature sound in the 90s.
Yeah, they did.
And then once 2000 hit and, I got with Doghouse and giving them some of my sound over there, once he left No Limit, it created something else. The Last Mills, the East Siders,
Right.
Doggy's Angels, and then me hopping on the Chronic 2001, singing LA niggas, it really pivoted my name.
Right.
So before all that happened, I was up in the thousands, already doing stuff, working my ass off. I mean, I would be in the studio practically every day, doing stuff for different artists. Some paid low, some paid good, but I kept it up.
Yeah.
And my wife is the one, shout out to my wife. She is the one that said, baby, you need to stop. Hold on. Do you know how many features you own? And this was in the early 2000s. And it blew me away because I didn't never think about being the most featured artist in the world on nothing.
Right.
But my wife, who's always, the closest one to you smelling your funky breath is going to tell you the real.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? While you lollygagging at a party or at a show, she's right at home and on the computers and checking all the parameters, so it was something that I was more more or less listening to her. And when she actually proved it by fact, you know, and did her and, you know, her teammates and my son did extensive research for 2 years and actually got documented facts, because we didn't want to present this unbelievable information.
Right.
Because first of all, we know people will fact check it.
Yeah, especially back then.
Yeah, back then. But it was something that made me feel good, because I went through so many ups and downs to where it made me at times wanting to throw in the towel, like, man, forget this bullshit. But it encouraged me also to not leave just leave a financial legacy, but leave an inheritance legacy of music royalty to my kids.
Right, right.
And at the same time, inspire a whole generation that when they read the Kokane story and all the trials and tribulations and things that got taken away from me, things that was incredibly wrong with publishing and different other things, to still be standing there and work, and just transfer my energy over to them, to let them know, don't give up no matter how long it takes. You can do something out of your wildest imagination if you're very serious about what you do. And I just happen to become the most featured artist in recording history.
DJ Hustle. DJ Hustle.